Good day. Smythe is expecting you. You remembered about the bowler hat. People sometimes try to pull a fast one, but not you. Please make your way to the office. Smythe's ready to take your call.
Maybe I'll visit outside the wall sometime. See how the other half live.
Greetings. I trust you're well rested. I'm relieved to hear as much. You need to be in good health, as we have a lot of work ahead of us. If only. Such endeavors are cursed with being thankless, arduous, and enduring. As I'm sure you've witnessed firsthand, the situation out there has changed. There's a feverish tension, an emergent frenzy. Decisive action is imperative. While I prefer my employees address me with respect, times such as these call for people willing to take swift action. I am to take direct control of the Lord Chancellorship. For that, I need a royal decree. We want the transfer of power to look legitimate. The salient details are in the dossier on my desk. Call if you have any questions. Be seeing you. I trust you've read the list. Ask away. Naturally. The Baroness is the Lord Chamberlain, a considerable choke point in the functioning of the state. As such, she is integral to our plans. You'll need her to sign a royal appointment. If she chooses to value pedantry over my objectives, avail her of the hollow disk I've given you. Any further questions? What are you blabbering about now? Are you getting enough oxygen in that brain of yours? Ideologically and morally, there's no issue. Yet she's not as compliant as one might hope her to be. She fears the laws of the land. I worry she will choose to hide behind bureaucracy, propriety, and regulation. These are tools for the state, not against it. You see, she understands what is happening, but is playing it safe so she can cling to the victor. Cowards cling to fear, and so you must use fear. Good. The effete Baron Winthrop may possess the demeanor of someone with class, but don't be mistaken. This pompous, precious pig has all the squealing proclivities of a hedonist. He's a bottomless void of vulgar pleasure. Yet you, must work with him. Convince him to stamp the royal appointment with the ceremonial seal. Any further questions? Just to be explicit from the outset, that is not what I am suggesting. He's a coward, afraid of being taken from the delights of this world. Threaten his life, and he will comply. He spends his day challenging young men and women at tennis so as to leer at them. I don't perceive him having any real motivations beyond satisfying his desires. Good. Normally, I'd say Honeyset is a valued asset, but this reliance, in reality, has evolved into conceit. He's trying to consolidate his own influence over the judiciary, an unacceptable outcome. He has a protégée, Cecily Sugar. Get rid of her. She's exuberant, an iconoclast. Our project requires guile and discipline. Send her back to Kingdom Come at one of her debates. Honeyset will quickly fall into line. On the contrary, the device may be loud, but the blast concentrated. Regardless, the audience, to be frank, are expendable. Debtors sympathetic to the cause, or creditors with bounteous assets. We must be decisive and unsentimental. The profile for Cecilia Sugar is comprehensive. Any potential she has is curbed by the risk of non-compliance. He'd never pursue her, but he's deeply infatuated with her. He seeks to have her intimately in his odd little orbit, dependent and thankful of his patronage. If you deny him of whatever future exists in his head, you show him that we control his destiny, not him. Besides, I'm saving him the inevitable torment of abandonment. Good. I'm glad. No, quite the opposite, in fact. The role is historically ceremonial.
I'm afraid visitations are by invitation only. Yes, all this seems to be in order. Come right through and follow me.
Mind the gap and all that. You need anything?
Smythe told me of your arrival. I'm afraid I cannot oblige you. Smythe seemed reticent to commit to the request to paper. That in itself caused a little apprehension. The requested document is not a trifling matter. In fact, even requesting it is a serious offense. I was so careful. Please. You can't. You'd ruin my family. You dare judge me? You grubby little blackmailer sifting through the lives of others. Here is your decree. I cannot provide the seal, as you know. I can only hope that Smythe doesn't destroy everything we've built here in London. Given the lengths you're willing to go through, I'm not so sure. I guess I can spare a few minutes.
In a hurry? I live in fear, knowing it must be horrible to live in places without luxury. If you've come to challenge me, you'll have to wait. I've just been bested by another bestial young thing. Oh, you flatterer! I tell you, I'm spent. Now leave off. How rude. What an odious little oik you are. I thought myself gracious enough to entertain your company, but you've revealed yourself to be very, very boring. Fine. Are you beggars ever going to leave me alone? Wouldn't you prefer to talk to someone more on your level? Sorry, I'm really busy. Devil!
Injury check. Anyone hurt? Bother. Let me get my pistol.
Well, you found Baron Earl Winthrop. Titles may grow on trees these days, but some titles carry a dynasty rather than a vulgar rank. Ah, yes. The elder sibling we've all grown to depend on. I wonder if it's only me that fails to see how Smythe's pervasive influence benefits anyone other than themselves. I'll do as you say. No need to be a brute. What do you want from me? Yes, the seal. If you can just hand over the appointment, let me just... Good. That should work. Now leave me be. You've caused my disposition to become quite unstable with your harsh words and hard fists. Over here!
If you'd just like to step over here. Yes, that all seems good to me. Did you want to be searched? Have a good evening.
As you can see, we're having some technical difficulties. The show will begin in due course. Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Interrogation Interregnum. I am your host, Kisby Hunter. This week I am delighted to host a scholarly debate. The issue, reducing the length of indentured servitude agreements. To litigate the issue, I am joined by Cecily Sugar, a barrister working out of the Chief Justice's chambers. She's a trustee of the 99ers, a civil rights organization advocating for indenture leniency. Ladies and gentlemen, Cecily Sugar.
Thank you for having me.
We're also delighted to welcome back a regular guest, a traditionalist noble with a wealth of military experience, currently serving as the Chief Accounting Officer for the Bureau of the Indentured Fiscally Terminal and Immortized Peoples. He is also the author of Lazy London and the recent follow-up, Pregnancy, Lazy Guts, or Productive Runts. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for the Duke of Richmond, Gregory James Pritchard.
Good afternoon.
I'll start with you, Miss Sugar. Do you really believe the fiscally irresponsible are capable of integrating into society? Do we not risk the virulent spread of mental as well as fiduciary vagrancy?
Imagine if they get into the schools.
Oh, no, I don't think anyone is advocating we'd release these people directly into the education system.
Not yet, but please don't kid yourselves. It's coming.
Roger, I can sense you'd like to respond to Cecily's ranting.
Respond? I haven't said anything yet.
The only one that's surprised by that is you.
Miss Sugar, if you can hold your interruptions and wait until the appropriate time to respond. Duke Pritchard, please continue.
Thank you kindly, Kibsby. Very passionate, but unable to control their outburst.
Apologies. I believe that's the minute timer for the opening speaker. Since Cecily used her time to interrupt you, we'll just turn it off.
What was I saying? Sorry, it's hard to follow with all these interruptions. Ah, that was it. These ghastly reformists will be all one hears. Shrill, droning voices spouting ill-informed opinions on matters they know nothing of. It's very simple. If you don't want to work under a custodian, don't get into debt in the first place. Indenture is a gift, given the right frame of mind. Consider 100 years of free tutelage and guidance under a temperate, wise hand.
Now, really, I must interrupt. A gift? Come on, how ridiculous. These people are practically slaves.
It really is tedious to have to deal with these insistent, histrionic interruptions.
I agree. Miss Sugar, I'm really going to have to ask you to control yourself.
You've not let me say anything, so I must make the opportunity myself. Indenture is the new face of an ancient experiment in the sanctity of debt.
What a claptrap! Debt accelerated the reconstruction of Westminster.
It was the rapacious force behind rebuilding, true. But by compelling people to pay their debts, they are forced to work. It renders those without capital in a potential state of subjugation.
And this terrible institution of debt, which you admitted powered the rise of Westminster, this terrible institution is undermined by reducing the 100-year term by 1% or a year, correct?
Yes, it's a modest decrease. But if we can start a conversation about debt relief, it'd be liberating to the majority of Londoners and...
Risible! People work. They must work. It forms their very being. People are incomplete unless motivated by profit. Inaction is death. The moment you break this covenant, unhealthy ideas enter the ecosystem.
Indeed, such talk has proved very dangerous in the past.
Precisely, Mr. Hunter. We're at a pivot point in history. Celsi, you fail to understand that you are meddling with forces you don't understand. You could awaken an atavistic deluge within society that would destabilize London.
I think it's very odd that an act of passion could be depicted as some sort of frenzied chaos.
You are a fool. A dangerous fool. She really must be taken off the air immediately. Is that what we're doing now, Kisby? Propagating seditious ideas?
No, we don't. You're right. It's a public safety issue at this point. I quite agree. Cut her microphone. It's time we brought out our final arguments. Obviously, Cecily has said quite enough for one day. Duke, can I have you please give us a closing argument, please?
No, I'd rather not. I think the public would be best served by wrapping this up as quickly as possible. We do not want to leave a lasting impression on the weak-minded. There is an important election coming up, and a stable transition is important for London.
Yes, I quite agree. Ladies and gentlemen at home, good evening from myself and everyone here at... Oh, good heavens! What is happening?
Oh, Jesus! She's been electrocuted! Get a broom!
Is she fizzling? Oh dear, yes. I can smell burning flesh. Can we turn her off? Ladies and gentlemen, please leave. We cannot be responsible for any ill health gained from inhaling the fumes generated by one of our guests.
Do they have good socks? I'm dying for a better pair.
I'm busy.
Yeah?
I don't understand how a place like this has managed to survive.
Can I help you? What's this about? Smythe? The civil servant? This is highly irregular, not to mention socially inappropriate. Can't you see I'm mourning the death of a close colleague and dear friend? Meaningless slaughter. A prodigious talent extinguished. You're implying you did this? You are a disgusting individual. I do not understand how someone clinically professional as Smythe can tolerate you, let alone trust you with such high matters. There you go. More power to the faceless, unaccountable bureaucracy. Did it necessitate the death of a gifted young woman? God save us.
You're getting pretty chummy with Mount Blackmail. Be careful. Its reputation.
Fancy a poster? Support your party to victory in the polls? Of course. There's an election on. Didn't you know? Last PM died at the tournament, so there's been an upset in Parliament. I heard Freddie Newell tried to step in to take control. Of course, Parliament wasn't having it. Can't have a PM without an election first. It's just not done. Name's Bernie, and I'm the campaigner in charge of elections. One of many, lest you think democracy around here's a joke and not to be taken seriously. I do love an election. That's why it's my job to make sure it's done right. Your party. You know, the party who best represents you and your interests in Parliament. I can see you're poor, but blimey, I thought you'd at least know who the parties are. You've not even seen the posters? Oh, we've got all sorts. We've got blue for the traditionalists, led by Freddie Newell. Bit daft, but they keep a steady hand on the rudder and all that. We've got yellow for the pragmatists, if you fancy a bit of change. Lynn Moores is the leader, and she's committed. Or she should be, at any rate. To an asylum. And finally, we've got red for the reformist party. Stark raving mad, the lot of them. They never win, but they try, bless them. So, who'll it be? Well, what's there to say? They're a fairly dull bunch. Between you and me, ain't the brightest bulbs, neither. Afraid of change, you see. Don't like upsetting the balance of order, or what have you. Ah, but they did recently outlaw hunting the poor for sport. For now. They call themselves reformists. Others say they just like to cause a fuss. They mean well, of course. Good for business, the pragmatists are. They've got some good ideas. Not sure about their new modest proposal about the meat ration, though. Good one, mate. Oh, you were serious? Well, what can I say? Any party that elects Charlie Barley as their leader has got to be taking the piss. That man couldn't lead a flock of homing pigeons. And? Gets me every time. Right, now, here's 5. Go and put them up around Westminster. What? You didn't think I was handing them out for free, did you? Popular participation is the cornerstone of our democracy. Elections don't happen if nobody knows about them. If you need more, I've got plenty.
I'm in touch with humanity.
Found you.
Right, you're finished. Find me should take this as a chance.
Sir, my...
You're finished. Save the queen. Queen and country. Remind me to be better next time.
I wonder if anyone would notice if I take a quick nap during this debate.
You're back! Just in time! They're about to announce the results! Of course not. Only the Gentry can vote. Everyone knows that. Now hush!
Thank you for tuning in to tonight's Election Night special. We've just got the result from St. James Park, and the Reformist Party has won St. James Park. This can't be right. The Reformist Party has somehow won a majority of seats in Parliament, just when I thought I'd seen it all. And Charles Bailey has just burst into the studio and knocked over a security guard to give us his statement.
They said I was crazy. They said it would never happen. But I did it. I won. Me, Charles Bailey. The Prime Ministership is finally mine. All mine.
No, hang on a moment. We interrupt this monologue to bring you a stunning development. The MPs for St. James Park, Victoria and Lambeth have just defected to the Traditionalist Party. The Traditionalist Party now have the majority.
What? Impossible!
Now, see here, Charlie. Let's be reasonable.
You pompous little...
We will bring you the full result of this election and the fight between Charles Bailey and Freddie Newell after these messages.
Wow! I didn't expect that. I don't fancy Bailey's chances against Newell in fisticuffs. I hope they don't kill each other. Another election so soon would be just silly. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Officially, not for another 5 years, but given the state of things, we'll probably be back here again in a few weeks. I suppose it all seems a bit silly, now that I think about it. Anyway, I'm off. It's been a pleasure.
I'm duty-bound to listen to your concerns, as long as they're given to my secretary in writing.
And why the rush? Do you have somewhere to be? God knows I don't.
I'm not corrupt. I just have friends in high places.
I should really start writing my resignation letter, just in case.
Oh, hello.
And the
Forgot
daft
where I was
buggers
for a
would
second.
still vote us. Ha! Listen, I'll have to call you back. I've got some governing to do. Absolutely. Winning an election makes you a pillory for the desperate. People really need to start dealing with problems themselves, instead of going straight to the Prime Minister. Well, that's different. You've demonstrated your worth to us. It's been noticed and greatly appreciated. Let's see. A surprisingly prominent position for Smythe. This all appears in order. I'll get things in motion immediately. You can tell our mutual friend that I'll enjoy working with them. Fine. Are you beggars ever going to leave me alone?
Good day. If you're looking for Smythe, I'm afraid they're busy. But again, you already know that, don't you? Oh. Are you lost, bored, and confused? Welcome to life in the civil service. Huh. I don't know. I'm sure he'll be in contact. You take care of yourself. Be seeing you. I do know what's going on, and so do you. Smythe's being appointed Chancellor down in the government. Okay, maybe I don't know the exact details, but that's exactly because I'm their secretary. I'm not important enough.
Sorry to bother, Gov. Got a letter for you. You're very welcome. Have a nice day.
I do hope Father is proud of me. It must be horrible to live in places without luxury.
In a hurry? An important meeting, perhaps? Huh, I think not.
I do.
Excellent. Now would you please sign these articles of office? By the power vested in me, by the office of the Lord Speaker, I declare you Lord Chancellor Smythe.
I thank you for this great honor, and I look forward to working with you.
Maybe I'll visit outside the walls sometime. See how the other half live.
Citizens of London, the situation has become intolerable. Violence has spilled onto the streets of London. Even inside this sacred borough, armed gangs of hoodlums are murdering each other. This has to stop.
Life at the top is immensely satisfying.
This will stop. This is my promise to you. To combat this epidemic of violence, I will take direct control of the situation. We cannot afford the chaos of indecision during this emergency. London depends on it. As such, I will be dissolving Parliament immediately. It's absurd to debate laws that you cannot enforce. Power will return to the people, as it always has in this country, once and only once. Order has been restored. London is on the precipice.
What's that smell?
We must fight for its survival.
It's
We
you.
must unite, as we always have countless times past, to defeat this great evil. I believe we are more than equal to the task. God bless the people. God bless the Queen. And God bless the United Kingdom.
People have a negative attitude. That's what's stopping them.
Whatever it is, leave me out of it.